Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today as we have another webinar with the Cloud for Small Business. And we appreciate you visiting with us. Of course, we have these webinars archived so that you can see them not only live and participate with them. We have some who are signed up in our circles invited to come. We hope that some of them are able to make it today. But if not, that is perfectly fine because the webinars are archived, and you can see them on our website, Image Building Web Design, also on our Google Plus page, and also on our YouTube channel. And so they're there for you to watch and to view as you would like to do that, and also share with other people, and we appreciate that. Today we are talking about a checklist for small business owners regarding the cloud. And that may not sound like a very interesting topic, but perhaps something like this has happened to you. You go to your website, you use your contact form, and all of a sudden you find out that it's not working. And it may not have been working for weeks and you just don't know it. Or maybe for some reason you go to your newsletter sign-up form and all of a sudden you find out that's not working. And you look back and you've not had anyone sign up for that. And so you're losing those opportunities. It could be even something worse than that. It could be that your e-commerce is not working the way that it ought to. And so sometimes we find that business owners are having things like this happen and they don't know it, and they're losing potential business, potential customers, and just don't know it. So the easiest thing we've found is to just have a checklist. Just have certain things you go over regularly, because things are changing so fast with the internet and with the cloud. If you're not on top of those things, then things can change. They can leave you behind. And as we will talk at the end of this webinar, and it won't be very long, a very long webinar, so it'll just be a few minutes. If you're not on top of some things, you can find out that you've become totally irrelevant, and you wonder why you're not getting or retaining customers, and it's because you've become irrelevant and you didn't even know it. And now you've got to start almost from square one to get back to where you were and try to go from there. So let's talk about a few things, and I have several screens I'll share with you, but I don't have a PowerPoint to share with you today, but we'll share those screens in just a moment. When we talk about when we talk about a checklist for small business, let me suggest to you that you check your backups. Now, we have a webinar coming up about backups. That you check your backups at least once a month. That's 12 times a year. But because, well, what happens if a hard drive, your server fails? What happens if a PC with critical information fails? And certainly if you have military clients, you have those who have military contracts, or maybe a contract with the military, they're going to want to make sure that you have redundant systems, that if something happens, that you can be back in business very quickly. Even in worst case scenarios, you could be back in business and supplying what's needed for those critical contracts. And of course, this is going to every time come to our backups. And so let me suggest to you that you're checking those regularly. And again, we'll have a webinar for backups very soon. That you have on-site, and then regional backups that are in physical locations, and then also cloud backups. And those need to be checked, and it's very simple to do. You can just do a test install of the data somewhere on your computer, on your server, something such as that. You don't actually have to replace the data, but just move some data over to where you can check it and make sure that all is good with that. Then also, we should have backups of our website. Now, if you have a website that's stagnant, not much is happening with it, of course you don't need to worry about that. I mean, you're not going to be getting really many customers or many visitors because of that, especially because of the 2012 changes with the algorithms. But But you don't have to worry so much about a backup. But if you are aggressive in doing what we should do today as businesses, and that is providing fresh content to those who would visit our sites, you've got to make sure there's a good backup there. Again, we'll go through software, methods of backups, and but as executive, number one, you need to make sure they're being done, they're secure, they're redundant, and also that they're being checked, that there are some reinstallation of data, some test installations of data to make sure that those are good backups. So let's check our backups rather regularly. Also, as we already mentioned, we'll find sometimes something's happened to a website, a business owner doesn't know it, and his contact forms don't work. So send yourself an email through the system just once a month. Newsletter, sign up for a newsletter once a month. Now maybe you've seen that you have such a flow coming through those things, you don't worry about it, and that's fine. But especially if you have a new site, even with new sites, I suggest check it every week, because things are changing, things are happening. Make sure somebody's not done something that shouldn't have been done, or that has messed something else up. They didn't know about it. So check those things. So we're going to check our backups, make sure we've got good backups, make sure the data is good. We're also going to check our forms. If you have e-commerce, make sure you've got customers coming through there. And especially if it's new, be testing that system. Just go through there, place an order, and make sure everything works fine. Everything goes through the system as it should. If you're selling subscriptions, where people are billed on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, go in there, create a subscription, go and cancel the subscription, all these things, so that everything's working fine. You don't want to wait until all of a sudden you don't have any customers and your business is going down considerably to find out you've got a problem. Let's test it in advance. All right, so we're testing our forms. We're making sure we've got good backups. We're testing that. We're making sure our e-commerce is working correctly. And now also, let's move just a little bit into the SEO, the online marketing realm, just a little bit. And let's check our page ranking. Now again, you don't have to have the best page ranking in the world to do well with the search engines, but it certainly does help. Basically, the better page ranking you have, the better you're going to do with the search engines. It's not always true, but generally that's the way it is. So again, I showed you last time, and let me share my screen here just very quickly. Let's go over to and check our friends, as a matter of fact, at Google. And remember, I told you last time about SEO Quake, SEOQUAKE, and you can go there and download the toolbar. And when you do that, there are a number of add-ons available. So go on and download the add-ons. Some of them will give some free service and then some add-on paid service, but still, they're good to have. And we see that Google's page ranking is 9. And so, and also remember, the page ranking does not change every month. It changes maybe once a quarter, as given by Google. But still, we need to be on top of that, and it's easy to do every month. As a matter of fact, I hope you're on your website regularly anyway, so with the toolbar here, you just see automatically, and you could be checking that to make sure that is stable. If you see that your page ranking goes down because it's only those stats are only issued about once every 3 months, then you need to get on that immediately, because it's going to take probably another 3 months to find out what your next page ranking is, and also to do something about that. So we need to get on it very quickly. We don't need for it to go down one number and then another 3 months to go down another number, and all of a sudden we're down with a 2 or a 1 or a 0, and then try to do something about it. It takes a long time to move the needle. And so if we're not on top of it, we can be in a lot of trouble. So we're going to have good backups. We're going to check to make sure that we've got good data with our backups, because we're just doing some test installation of that data. And we're going to check our page ranking regularly as we look at our website. We also need to regularly test the performance of our website. There's nothing worse than having a website that's slow, that's clunky, that doesn't operate very well. And if we do, of course, our page ranking and our search results aren't going to be as good as we would want them to be. And so let me show you another screen here for just a second. And this time, I'm going to show you one of the pages recommended in the Google Docs documentation for a web page test or speed test. And I won't go through it here right now, but you see that you can put in a URL, and you put that in there, and you put in a location from which the speed of your site is going to be tested, and then you put in the browser. And so you can test this from different locations, different browsers, to make sure that you have a good load speed with your website. And so there are a number of ways to test this. This is just one that Google gives in its documentation, and it's very easy to get to. You don't need a password. You don't need to log into analytics or anything like that. You can go there just very quickly, and you can see that. Also, while we're here, let me click over to the browser test from Adobe that we talked about last time. Sometimes we see that individuals will have a website and not really staying up on what's happening with it, and there's some time that goes by, and they find out that you know, there's a new browser that's come out, and they're not aware that their website does not perform well with that browser. It may perform well with IE 7 and IE 9, but IE 8 has been out for a good long time, and they have no idea that their website doesn't perform well with IE 8. So how many people went to that website and did not have a good experience? Maybe it's a restaurant, and you know, the website is terrible, it looks terrible on their computer. What are they going to think about the food and the service there? Just the impression there. And so just staying up on the news, what's happening, what are new browsers coming out, and there are changes being made to browsers all the time. And quite frankly, I think the easiest way to stay up on it is just go and check. Just go check once a month, just make sure everything's working fine. And that, quite honestly, can be a lot easier than keeping up with all the news, with all the browser changes, what browser's coming out when, and you've got different companies, different browsers, different updates. It's just easier to go and check. So once a month, I suggest that. Just do a browser check, make sure you're good with that. Check to make sure your backups are doing well, and if you've got a good track record of that, that's not such a big deal, but still, maybe just once a quarter, make sure you've got good backups there, because you certainly don't want something to happen there be a problem. And then also we talked about making sure your forms work with the site, newsletter, e-commerce, contacts, and those things. I want to show you one more thing as I get over here to share my screen. Of course, if you're using apps with cloud apps, you're going to make sure that those are working properly, and also that you've got a good backup with that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is staying on top of your keywords. We find that oftentimes, and we too as a business, we've got to stay on top of this also, that as keywords change, we must change also. We've got to change our content. We've got to change our anchored text. We've got to change the correlating text associated with our business as we may be posting on different sites or guest blogging on other sites. We have to change all of this because the industry is changing. And so let me show you two tools that are extremely valuable, and there are others that we will talk about in future webinars. But here are a couple that are just critically important I want to share with you. So I want to share my screen on this. And we are now at Google Trends. This is google.com/trends. And I would write that down. google.com/trends. And there's been some recent changes to this tool that have been very good. And I'll just type in web design, which is my industry, and click enter, and we let this come up. Then it's doing some analysis with the term here, and all right, now this is very interesting. Now we have an analysis here that is going back to 2004. And we see that the search term web design in 2004 was really hot. But today, comparatively, in 2012, it is only a fraction of what it used to be. Now, if I was not on top of this, I could still be thinking that things back in 2004 were still the way things were. But this is telling me that I need to make some changes, and I should have made some changes in my business model, in what I am doing, what I am trying to reach, the keywords, the key phrases I am using to try to reach customers. Because if I'm still trying to do what I used to do, I'm not going to have as much success. And so sometimes there will be a business owner and say, well, things were great a few years ago, but now they're not going so they're not keeping up on their keywords and key phrases to reach people who are out there searching for the services they provide. And so they're not reaching them as they used to. Now we can look down here. We won't take time to go through all of this. We can add a term here, and I'll just put website design, and that's a little bit different. And now you see that the analysis here with this and website design has been rather stable throughout the time. And so we perhaps could come up with a strategy of using both web design and website design, especially what we know from other analytics and what we know in analyzing what large companies, very successful, are doing, that a combination of these terms would be valuable to us. Now let's go down just a little bit further here, and we see related terms. And we hover over the little question mark there, and we see that people who are using these search terms oftentimes are using these other terms also. And so this helps us to understand a little bit more broadly. Someone who is searching for web design is also possibly searching for free web design, or design site web, or web page design, or best web design, or web designer. So all of these are giving us a broader idea on how to impact that. Now here we have, right now we're on the top, but go over to rising. Now here is an analysis of the terms that are increasing. And we see Web 2.0 has increased 4,700%. Now that makes sense because Web 2.0 has been a big thing. And I suspect Web 3.0 before long will become a big thing. But we see here how to position ourselves. SEO, people are wanting to know more about SEO, open web design, open formats, Photoshop web design. And those are pretty large in the industry right now. So this gives us an idea what's been happening in the past, what's happening today, what is trending toward the future, so that we position ourselves. And just very quickly, we can choose where we're looking at this, worldwide or in a particular region, and also we can change and look at a particular year, or look in the past 12 months, or we can also just put in whatever we want there as far as dates go. Let's say if we want to look at the last 2 years or something like that. And so you see how this changes over the last 2 years. These are pretty stable. Web design and website design. So for your industry, get in there, look at these things, look at the competition, see what they're doing, see what's happened in the past with keywords and phrases, see what's happening today, see what's trending for the future, and position yourself there. All right, I want to look at one more tool for today, and then we'll be done. And I'm sorry, this tool is not coming up. I wish it was. It is not coming up on this computer, and that might be because, oh, there it is. Good. All right, let's say I'm going to refresh that page like it said to try again. Let's see if that loads in there. Let's give it a shot here. All right, very good. Okay, now I'll give you the URL to this. You don't have to log into AdWords to use it. The URL is adwords.google.com/keyword tool. If you'll use that URL, it'll send you here. adwords.google.com/keyword tool. All right, so now this is very extremely helpful. Basically, you put in there basic keywords of your industry, and this will give you the most popular keywords and phrases to use for that industry. All right, so again, we're going to go web design. And I'm going to put in a website, image buildingwebdesign.com. All right, and I'm going to just go on and put in the CAPTCHA. Oh boy, I'm going to guess here what this says. I don't know if that's going to let me in there with that. All right, it did. Okay, we're loading that, and that'll take just a moment. Okay, all right, very good. All right, so we go down through here. All right. Okay, so let me just scroll down through here. Okay. All right, so we see we've got global monthly searches, and we see the competition is high. Well, of course, if we're going for the most customers, of course, it's going to be high. We see for web design that there were about 7.5 million searches for that. We go to the global searches on others, and we see some good suggestions here. And I wish I was looking earlier, and I probably put something in differently. And it shows the local searches, global searches, web designers, 1.2 million searches. And when we say the local, which that would be perhaps in our area, 368,000 searches. And also web design site, about 1.2 million. That's 450 local searches. Web page design, 673 global, 246,000 local searches. And so we can go down through here with this. I probably made a different setting. And of course, if we were to sign in, of course, it's telling us right here, if we were to sign into AdWords, there would be all sorts of other information for us. But here we just want to very quickly look at this. I wish I was looking earlier and there was a key phrase that came up, and of course I wrote this down, with 5 million global searches. And of course we're going to be looking at adding that to our arsenal to reach folks who are looking for the services we provide. And so anyway, there are a number of keyword tools to, let's see here. Hang on a second. Okay, that was probably, let me go down here. Let me go down here to Internet and Telecom real quick. Okay, I forgot to change the category. All right, let me load that up one more time. And that might not have changed anything. All right, so anyway, this helps us, and with many other tools that Google provides, and we'll be doing webinars on this very soon. This helps us stay on top of our keywords, make sure we're dealing with the keywords as we should, make sure we are changing the way we are presenting our content as we should, so that we are reaching our audience. Our audience is on the internet. They are searching, they are looking for the information they need, for the services they need. It's our job to find out how are they looking for that and position ourselves to be found. And so that's a big part of what we do. Anyway, our time's up for today. Appreciate you being with us for this webinar. I certainly hope these things have been helpful with the things we need to be doing every month to stay up on our business in respect to the cloud, so that we don't find ourselves in trouble with something that has happened. And it makes it very difficult for us to get back in the position we need to be. So we talked about some good things. We talked about backups. We talked about testing those backups. We talked about testing and checking our forms and our e-commerce. We talked about checking our page ranking when we are on our website. We talked about checking the performance of our website, clicking through the pages, browsing the pages, being a user of our website to see how it performs. We talked about checking our cloud apps, making sure the backup is there. And also we talked about checking our keywords to make sure that they are stable, and if there are any trends evolving, to catch those trends as soon as we can to position ourselves the very best we can. So thank you for being with us today. And again, this is archived. You can look at it anytime, and we look forward to seeing you next time, Tuesday morning next week. Thanks so much.